So when I first moved to Seattle, I was recently out of a relationship and kind of like, oh, what am I going to do with myself? It was kind of my first, serious relationship. And I was also wanting to kind of resolve some of this inner conflict that I'd been carrying around. Oh, do I believe this? Do I not believe this? What do I believe? Where do I want to go with my life? So I actually started researching and looking into the BDSM world, which would be, whips and chains, dominatrix, that kind of stuff. But essentially it's, bondage, discipline, sadism, masochism. It could talk about dominance, submission. So I started researching it. And again, I didn't really know much about it. I was, my concept of it was what we might see in the media, some woman in a leather cat suit with a whip whipping some guy.
That's an image I have now.
Yeah. Oh man, you'd be surprised how many people don't look like that though.
Really?
Believe me.
So
oh yeah.
were you the one that got whooped or or did the whooping?
Well, to start off, I wasn't doing anything. I thankfully said, you know what, I need to find the people that know about this. I need to get connected to a community. Don't just start hitting people with random things. And I started doing some reading. I started getting connected with some communities online, and I ended up getting into that community there in Seattle. And I think what I really learned about myself was that when I allowed myself to be authentic in what I wanted and what I enjoyed, that it was incredibly fulfilling. I think that it also gave me the opportunity to have freedom in my other parts of my life, not just my sexual life.
Right. So did you get beat, or did you beat others?
I like it all.
So you like getting beat or whooped?
There is an element of it, yeah. So the concept of BDSM is that, number one, you talk about consent. You talk about willingly entering into this arrangement.
So what has happened to you in that? What have you gone through? Lifestyle.
I've experimented with a lot of different things. It's not something that I do regularly, but it is something that is a part that I identify as part of who I am.
So like what?
There's all sorts of things you can talk about.
What do you like though?
There's spanking, there's flogging, caning, you talk about face slapping, you can talk about the psychological aspect of it, which is humiliation and dominance and submission. There's a lot of different elements.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you like being treated that way? It's a turn on?
Within that context, yes.
It's a turn on?
Yeah. In my life, day to day, no.
Right.
I'm a very, I'm very self-assured. I have a very strong personal identity, and I also demand a lot of respect from the people in my life.
And so,
but there's a certain freedom to entering into a consensual situation where you are agreeing and you have an agreement and a trust and a bond with whoever you're playing with. We use the word play to talk about engaging in this behavior. And it's an opportunity to really step into a realm that is a suspension of reality. You say, okay, here's the agreements. Here's my consent for you to do this, that, this, or that. And granted, you can stop it at any time with a safe word.
So let me ask, does the pain feel like love, or does it feel like sex, or does it feel like what?
There's so much more to BDSM than pain.
Right, that's what I'm asking. Yeah. So when you are being treated this way, does it feel like love, sex, or what? What are you getting from it? What type of satisfaction?
I would say that that's a good question, because there's so many different elements to talk about, but I believe for me, a lot of times it is a psychological and physical release. And it's not just about sex. There's many times that I've engaged in these kind of behaviors that have nothing to do with sex. And it's a moment of connection with someone. It's a moment of sharing something with someone that's really intimate.
So at the time that this is happening, do you feel that this person care about you, love
absolutely.
you, and that's why they're treating you that way?
Yeah. It's
an
agreement
to me.
Yeah.
And so have you been beat by, so have this happened, have men and women done this to you?
Yeah, I've played with a lot of different kinds of people, yeah.
Who do you prefer to treat you this way, men or women?
I prefer to have chemistry with someone and have a connection with someone, so I really don't have a preference.
Oh, I see.